Hey guys, welcome back. We got some great news coming out of Georgia, down here in Atlanta, in the metro area. They just rescued 39 children who were victims of trafficking or abuse, or they had been kidnapped. And this, I think, just came out yesterday, which was August 28th. They had operations going on for a while now, but if you're not familiar with Atlanta, it is a hub for child trafficking. And there's been a lot of people around here praying locally and really kind of spreading awareness that these children are in need of being rescued. And this was a huge, huge win. I think they said they arrested 9 people in total that were trafficking these children. And it's hard to imagine. They said some of the children, I believe, were as young as 3 years old. And they found kids that were missing for weeks and some that had been missing for years. And, a lot of these kids were considered runaways, but nobody realized they were actually being trafficked. But this stuff is becoming, I think it's kind of hitting the national spotlight lately. And what they're saying is there's a lot more missions like this. The U.S. Marshals are usually only going after these criminals, and now they're actually focusing their effort on rescuing children. And this is a huge, huge step in the right direction. I was at a rally just the other day in Chattanooga, Tennessee. There was a Save Our Children kind of a march and a get together, and it was absolutely incredible to hear there was people who had been abused coming forward, and there was a father and mother that really hit close to home. They lost their daughter. She went missing at a gas station, and she was 20 years old. And as a father, listening to their story was absolutely gut-wrenching, because you've got this girl, and I had kept seeing her face on online that was saying, this girl was missing. People would share it on Facebook and things like that. And you always kind of wonder, what's the story behind it? Well, the mother, the father, the grandmother, they all spoke on this girl's behalf. And the story absolutely blew my mind that nothing was being done. They said that the girl had gone missing at a gas station. They found her car. They found her wallet, everything, all her money, her phone, everything was left in this car. And they knew that the girl had been at this gas station, and she just disappeared. And she was 20 years old, so the cops weren't taking it serious. Nobody was investigating it. And the father was saying that, he was trying to get answers. And a few days later, the clerk calls him and says, "Hey, there's some girl's clothing back here behind this gas station by the dumpster." And it turns out the clothes belong to his daughter, who's now been missing since, I think they said it was January. But this young girl, if you get a chance to spread awareness on this, her name is Keeslyn Roberts, and just a beautiful young girl. The family is torn up, and what was really disturbing to me was that it wasn't a detective, it wasn't the FBI, it wasn't this major search that found this girl's clothing behind the gas station where she was reported missing. It was a clerk who just happened to see them. And we have to make sure as a society that that kind of thing doesn't happen. That there could have been evidence. The father said she could have been in that dumpster, and nobody knows. There wasn't a thorough search. There wasn't an investigation of it. And there's a reward for her to be found, and hopefully she's found safe and she's rescued. I think that's the best case scenario. Found out the father, listening to him speak at the rally, he actually is from my hometown, which really hits close to home. You got these people living through the unimaginable, losing their daughters, and it's just insane. But there's been a lot of things coming to light lately. If you haven't heard, there's this movie on Netflix that's supposed to be airing soon. It's called Cuties. And it is absolutely disgusting. I saw the picture of the movie poster for it somebody had shared, and was just like, can you believe this is going to play on Netflix? And it's these 11-year-old girls that are trying to join this group of kids that are twerking, which is absolutely horrendous. I mean, this is child porn here that we're talking about. This isn't some movie that should ever be aired or played. And if you do some digging into this movie and how it was made, it gets even creepier. They had auditioned over 600 children for this movie. I mean, it's absolutely unspeakable what these people have done and what they're getting away with. So yeah, I mean, you talk about disgusting. If you look at the interview process or the tryouts for this, they said they saw 650 candidates for this role over a 6-month period. So they spent 6 months having these children come out and audition for this show about twerking. I don't even want to imagine what these people were doing behind closed doors. And Netflix comes out and supports it and says, we support all these different things. And somebody asked them point blank, do you support pedophilia? And they're like, well, we can't even answer that right. We're not going to be able to answer that. Why wouldn't you just say no? And they said, well, our film is art and it's won a Sundance Award. Well, look at the founder of Sundance. He was found guilty and pled guilty of child sex abuse. So no wonder they won a Sundance Award. These people, it seems like you can't go anywhere in Hollywood without finding these people. And Hollywood is being completely silent on all of the stuff that's coming out. It's like the secret's out and they don't really know what to say. I don't know what they're trying to do right now. But the fact that this Sundance Award place, that you always hear, the Sundance Award, and it's this big prestigious thing. The fact that one of their founders is one of those child abusing pedophiles really tells me all I need to know about Hollywood and their award system and how do you win and what kind of people are they associating with. It's just like you think this rabbit hole couldn't get any deeper, and it just keeps getting worse and worse for them. It's unbelievable. But there's also this whole thing, if you haven't looked into this, the Wayfair child trafficking thing that's been going on. People are trying to say it's just a conspiracy, and Wayfair tried to come out right away and say, this is just, these prices for our cabinets were correct, and there's nothing to see here. Well, they had these cabinets, some were $10,000, some were $13,000, some were $15,000. It was the same cabinet, but the price varied on this exact same cabinet by $3,000 to $4,000 to even $5,000, which is strange. And somebody was alerted to that and said, this is suspicious. And people started looking and realized that these cabinets were all named after missing children. Okay, that could just be a coincidence. But then you have someone else who sees I think it was a couch that was for an obscene amount of money. And when she tried to check it out and buy it just to see what would happen, her information under her credit card already filled out a name, and it was the name Precious Harris, the name of a child who is already declared missing. Okay, so talk about suspicious. And then they had these $10,000 throw pillows that were just looked like cheap Walmart pillows, but here they are for $10,000, and guess what? They're named after missing children. And I found that there was a trafficking bust, and guess what? One of our child traffickers was wearing, yes, that's right, his Wayfair shirt. He still had on the Wayfair shirt. You can't make this stuff up. It's like, hey, is Wayfair in on, are they in on child trafficking? And there's a trafficking bust in June before all this broke out, and one of the guys still had his work uniform on. How convenient. That they try to hide this stuff, but I think it's becoming so obvious, and people know the signs and people know the symbols that they use. And I think there's just this massive surge in people actually investigating these claims, and it's getting it's just getting to where it's so obvious and it's so easy to find it now that once you're awake to it, you can't not see it. And a lot of these people, I think, are going to be brought to justice. And with this whole bust in Georgia that just happened, a couple hours down the road from here where I'm at, it's great news. And hopefully what they say is true. This stuff is going on nationwide, and they will be finding and rescuing these children. And that's something that God is wanting us to do right now and to pursue this. And when I was praying the other day, God showed me that His angels, the armies of heaven are ready, and God is looking for His Moses. He's looking for someone to take His people out of Egypt, take them out of Babylon. These children need to have our voice. They need to be heard. And the fact that this Save Our Children movement is starting, we cannot let this die out. We have to be their voice. We have to be someone, knowing this stuff. And when the Pizzagate emails came out years ago, I think it was back in 2016 when I first started looking into that stuff. It was so disturbing. I couldn't sleep. And the more you read what they were saying, these high up politicians, the more you realize that we've been surrounded by these people our entire lives, and we had absolutely no idea. The ability of them to just blend in with society, to be on our television, it's unheard of. I mean, these people in the highest possible positions, you're talking senators, presidents, talking about children as if they're just nothing, and they're having these times where they're spirit cooking, and then you have Hillary talking about sacrificing a chicken to Moloch, which they had code words, and it just got deeper and deeper, and then it just gets, laughed about in the media as a conspiracy, some right-wing conspiracy. But these people are really doing this, and if you haven't looked into the Pizzagate emails, it doesn't take much common sense to realize they're not talking about pizza. When they say Obama bought $65,000 worth of pizza, it wasn't food. And there's too many pieces of evidence in those emails to just go, oh, that's a coincidence. And it's unfortunate that these people haven't been held accountable. They're still walking the streets today, most of them, without any consequence, because, oh yeah, we were just talking about food, right? But I think if you have discernment, you have common sense, and you see the codes that the FBI has broken, you know exactly what they're talking about, exactly what they're doing. And it just goes to show you guys that the spiritual battle is so real right now. And these people, you'd like to think that, what Isaiah did, that, they became powerful and then they became corrupt and then they became pedophiles, but it doesn't work that way. These people are serious, occult following members. They're all, most of them, related. They are very into this dark world, and they're this you talk about a secret island where all these celebrities that we know and all these politicians were going, and it was known as Pedophile Island. That's not a secret. It wasn't a secret to them. And as the names keep coming out, we're like, how does this happen? And everyone wants to think that maybe they went there and they didn't know. But the reality is they all knew. You don't get on a plane, a private jet of all things, and not know where it's going and who you're going to hang out with. You lie down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. These people knew exactly where they were going, who was going to be there, what was going to go on before they went. And there's a darker spiritual undertone here. Are they powerful because they're pedophiles, or do they become powerful because that's what they are? And these people look out for each other. They give each other these promotions, and they are at Jeffrey Epstein's island is only one of many. There's different islands. There's places underground. There are islands all over the world that these people are going to. And we just found one little piece of this puzzle. It's not the only piece. And I hope and pray that more of this comes out as we see time moving forward. I think this is now the time that the darkness is going to be exposed. Now, unfortunately, that's going to cause some chaos and turmoil, and you're already seeing it in the news and in the protests and the riots. It's a distraction. It's planned. And it's going to keep going on like this the more things get exposed. All right, whatever they can do to distract us. The virus is still a big deal. Here we are months and months later. We hid in our houses. We're wearing masks 24/7, and we're going to just hide from this virus till it goes away. It's all a deception. It's all, it's all just to kind of distract us from what they're doing. And I think God's work is so powerful that there's nothing they can do to really stop this. To stop what's coming, they can't do it. And we need to stick to our prayers and keep realizing that God is moving right now in a way that has never been seen before, ever. The Great Awakening, all that stuff, this is something bigger. Guys, keep praying. Stay focused on God's love and His power to move and His power to heal. Thank you for listening. God bless.